That's a new one right there. Alright, so I'll just... Time has come to meet the one, but I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. My heart it knows it's true. So I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. There's nowhere to go when I'm all alone, but I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. Time has come to meet the one, but I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. Oh, I'll wait for you. Oh, I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. Oh, I'll wait for you. Alrighty.
Welcome to Sample Augusta Studios.
Thank
Celia.
you. This is awesome. I love it.
We're really happy to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks, guys.
So I kind of want to start off by just introduce yourself, surface level, let everyone know where you're from, what your name is, what projects you have going on, and all of that.
Okay. Well, hello. I'm Celia. Celia Gary is my full name. I've lived all over, but I really started my music career here in Augusta. So, Augusta is kind of where I feel from. So, and currently I've just been releasing singles. Like, I haven't been able to put all of my songs together into like one cohesive project. So,
And that's on YouTube primarily.
yeah,
at the moment,
so
right?
yeah, so I've just been releasing singles and just exploring like sounds and stuff. So
So do you feel like you're sort of in that exploration mode of trying to decide what it is that's going to tie in your next album?
yeah, definitely, because it's time. I released my last album in 2015.
Right, and the first one was in 2012.
Yeah, so my little EP was 2012,
right.
And then there was a few years, and then I did the full album, and then now I've just been writing, like, over the years, and I have, like, so much material, and then it gets a little hard to know how to piece it together into, like, one album.
Right.
Because I don't know about for you, but, like, when I write, I'll, like, write in a chunk of, like, 1 to, like, 5 songs. And they all kind of are in the same era.
Right.
But then all of a sudden I'll just have this totally different direction. And then I'm like, I don't want that song to go here, so I can't do a full album.
Right.
And then, so now I have, like, all these side projects. But
you have all of these homeless songs that need to find their place together.
Yeah.
Well, I really love some of the directions you're exploring. You mentioned, some of the things on YouTube as singles. It seemed like in your first album there was a lot of, you had, as you mentioned when we spoke before, an upright bass player.
Yeah.
Who was playing with you, and you also had some guitar, and then your vocals, backing vocals.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really use piano as much in your songs, do you?
No, I have a couple songs that I've done some piano work with, but I don't actually have access to a full piano. And then I've been more recently getting back into, like, keyboard, which isn't quite the same, but if you go onto YouTube, there's a couple, there was a phase when I lived in Colorado, I was house sitting, and they had a piano, so I wrote, like, a few songs on the piano, but other than that, not a lot.
So mostly guitar. Acoustic guitar vocals. And I noticed in the beginning you didn't use as much percussion, but in these last singles that you've been putting on YouTube, I hear a lot the percussion becoming more of a part of it, like a kabasa or a tambourine, and then now you've got some. You even have, like, one song that has a track in it that sounds almost like a Lindrum. It's like a drum sample, or.
Yeah, it's just, when I first started, I never did it before, so, you just start with what you know, which was me with the guitar singing, and then, like, going into a studio for the first time, not really knowing, trying to, like, piece together a band, and initially I didn't have percussion, and it was just me, the upright bassist, and then a guitarist, and I think that was pretty much the solid core. And then we did have a drummer as well, but it definitely wasn't a main focus, because lyrics were the main focus for me initially as a singer-songwriter.
Right, which that you could tell that just by listening to your work, because your songwriting abilities are very strong.
Well, thank you.
In your work.
I definitely, that's what what I started as just me in my room, like, for years, never playing with anyone. So when I, like, started coming out with my music, it was, like, mostly heavy on that. But as time went on, and I had a band for a while, and I went through a couple of drummers and realized, like, just having a different drummer can totally change up a whole song. Or which was cool, because it was, like, re-evolving songs I had done for so long. But yeah, now I'm really just getting into more, like, digital drums and that whole aspect. Or just very simple, like, almost retro kind of stripped down drums. So
and still back in the mix. Not all the way in the front, although there was one song where I think you had a kick that was a little higher than I would normally hear it, but it perfectly kind of provides that soft layer of, like, shimmery sound in the back behind your vocal. So because your vocals are really still, I think, the centerpiece of your work.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's like my gift, I think. So my strong suit is definitely, my guitar just backs me up. Everything else kind of just is there to hold up the voice in my head with the songs I create. So
were you a vocalist first before you, like, when you first started? I've got a few little questions here. So when did the interest in music first develop? I mean, a lot of us as musicians, there's sort of a defining moment or an album or a place in time or an exposure where you realize, oh yeah, I really dig this music thing. So did that come for the voice, from your guitar, just from being young and just knowing always that you love music? Or where did that come from?
It's kind of funny. It all came at once. Like, I just wanted to be a rock star. So, and like, it's actually really silly, but I was like, I want to play the electric guitar. I want to write songs. I want to play, like, and I was just like, all of it happened. So I learned how to play guitar. I was singing, like, writing songs all at once. Mm-hmm. Just, like, over ambitious in the sense of, like, I just really want to do this. I love this, even though I don't know how to do it. But my inspiration was actually Avril Lavigne back in her, like, I'm a skater boy, said Celia. Or, like, when she was, like, total, you know, kind of, I was, like, super inspired because she was just, like, I'm a female, but I'm awesome, and I'm writing my own songs, and, like, I don't need, you know, like, Miss Independent, but, like, for the girls who aren't, like, super girly. Yeah. So I was like, I gotta be her. So that really got me kicked off.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So, but you consider yourself a vocalist first over everything else? In terms of what you love?
Yeah, what I love is, like, my voice and, like, lyrics and songwriting.
Right.
But I enjoy playing guitar with, like, doing the whole thing, though. But, right. Yeah, I guess you're right. I would probably just be a vocalist.
Well, you don't have to just be a vocalist.
I like to dabble in everything.
Yeah, I was curious because I think a lot of people, they start with a primary instrument and then kind of branch out, and then, you know, they're the people that just want to, whatever they come across, they're like, I want to. What does this
that's
do?
More like me. I'm just kind of like curious and just like poking around with everything. But the foundation is definitely like guitar and vocals, and then I did play piano for a really long time, but that was when I was younger. But you know, it's just hard when you don't have a piano to.
It is kind of hard to.
But I did piano before I ever sang or anything, so that was like my first instrument.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm sure that I think that helps in setting up, you know, your understanding of harmonies, which you use a lot of in your
That's
style.
That's true.
You know, just understanding the chord structures, and which your voice, it's beautiful. And I did a little bit of reading on your bio, so I'm kind of interested. Was there anybody in your life, like a person who encouraged the music in your life? Like, is there anyone who was instrumental in that? Who kind of, if times were tough, you know, or because when you first start out, it's tough being a musician. You put yourself out there, and you know, it goes well sometimes it doesn't. Did you ever get discouraged, and was there ever anyone that like brought you back to, no, you need to keep doing it?
So funny. Like, I don't really get asked that question much, and it's so funny because I've been doing this such a long time. Like, people hear me like for the first time like 2 days ago, and they're like, oh my gosh, but I'm like, I've been doing this since I'm 11, okay? Like, I sucked for, like, 20 years, okay? Like, yeah, no, so that's funny that you say that because initially it was just I had this drive to do it myself. I had Avril Lavigne as kind of like an inspiration for me, and I was just like, I want to do this, and I was just doing it in my room and just learning, and I did a few, like, very seldom did, like, a talent contest or a talent show at school or something. I did one at my sophomore year, and I was like, I want people to know me as a rock star. Just awesome. Like really silly. And then I didn't place, and so I kind of lost some confidence, but I was like still doing that. And then I did another one in like my junior or senior year in high school, didn't place, and like totally, that was just like another knock me down. And I, like, couldn't do it, like, at all. I just stopped doing music because I was like, I'm not good enough, like...
Especially in high school, it's brutal. It's hard. It's so hard to feel confident especially when you're doing something that's so vulnerable out in front of all your crowd.
Yeah, I mean, I was just, like, shaking on the stage. Yeah. It wasn't my best, but I just thought, like, okay, I'm good, I'm in a place. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'm just lying to myself. So I took a break for a while, and then I don't know, I can't really remember, but I know my friend Joe,
Joe Looney?
Yeah, he was always, like, helping me not be discouraged. He was like, you have something, like, and he was helping me kind of, and so he was an inspiration for me to, like, kind of keep doing music and, like, get a band together. And then And then I did my thing for a while, but yeah, I've definitely hit points of being discouraged and, but it's like when you love to do something, it doesn't, even if you abandon it for like a while, it will always come knocking on your door. You're just like, it's just a natural instinct.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, and just seeing other people do their thing, like I've met up and coming artists and just been really inspired, and I'm like, I want to be there, like I want to do that. So it almost like re-sparks you during those times where it's like, what am I doing? Yeah.
Well, now Joe Looney, I do know Joe.
Oh, that's awesome, yeah.
And he's a great guy. And I noticed that you guys did a recording at Greenlight Studios.
Okay, yeah.
So that was a studio that used to be in Augusta, right? I'm not sure. I don't know a lot about their history. Do you know much about?
I actually, I don't know a lot about Greenlight. We just did the Christmas song there, and then we played a show there, and but I actually did most of my recording before I kind of took it in my own hands. I recorded in Aiken with Sean Guest.
Oh, okay.
He was the one.
Digital Halo.
Yep, Digital Halo. Yep. So he was the one that I did my first EP before like anyone knew him. He was super nice. I don't even remember how I met him. I think he may have seen I don't know. I'm sorry, Sean, if you're seeing this. I don't remember how I met you, but you're awesome. But yeah, I kind of learned, because I started playing live. And so studio was new for me, and he really was awesome, let me come in there, but also like taught me some really important lessons about how to be a studio artist, and I was kind of just like really unorganized with it. He kind of helped teach me some things there. So, but Greenlight was downtown, and they recorded some artists, but I don't actually know too much about them.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I guess while we're on the subject of Augusta, are there any other local musicians or acts that you want to kind of shine a spotlight on as your favorite in town? Or
that's so tough. And like I've been part of the scene for a hot minute too. So, and there's different genres like of music, because there's been a lot to come and go, but I definitely am a fan of the Village Sticks.
Okay.
And also Pepper Spray. I know I'm not sure if they're continuing their band.
Their last show was last night.
I know.
They did a show with Isaac. Isaac's moving out west.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were going to keep the band together, but those guys are awesome. And I'm trying to think. It's hard because I know so many musicians. I'm like going to leave out everybody.
Well, we won't.
I know. I'm not choosing.
This is not a top 5 list.
I know. I'm like, please don't take this personally. I just like, I love everybody, and anybody who does their thing. But Village Sticks, those guys are awesome.
And who's in Village Sticks?
I'm blanking. They're younger guys. But I mean, yeah. I'm blanking on names right now really
gotcha.
Bad. I'm just...
Well, Village Sticks.
Yeah, check them out. They're like a local Augusta band.
Okay. Mm-hmm. How would you... we've talked a little bit about your kind of background and your love for music, but how would you describe your music to somebody who had never heard it before?
I don't know. I guess I usually, when people are like, what's your genre, what's your style, I want to say... I like to say acoustic indie. I mean, technically, if it's just me and the guitar, it's singer-songwriter. But I just feel like that's placed on so many... I just don't want to be like...
Yeah, I feel like your style needs further explanation. Because there's more to it. There's... You bring in some electronic elements sometimes, and even just the style that it's... it's interesting. You even have some country flavors to your the way that you way you deliver your melodies. So every once in a while I hear, and it's almost that out west. It's like a spirit of curiosity, kind of a spirit of home.
Yeah,
I feel like there's kind of a warmth to your music.
That's awesome.
And even when it's just you and the guitar. It's just the way that you use your voice and the way that you welcome the the room in, the reverb.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I just feel like it fits well.
Yeah, and it gives your song a different feel. It gives it a little bit more depth. A lot of the topics that I really want to talk about your songwriting.
Okay, yeah, because shoot away.
A lot of the themes, and if I leave anything out, let me know. But you explore themes of love, of kind of self-awareness. You explore sort of the meaning of what it is to be alive, what it is to die. In fact, you have one song where you really talk about that, and I don't know the history behind the song, but it explores the meaning of, like, where are you when you die? Where have you gone? Can you see me now? And I almost wonder if some of that was inspired by the loss of someone, where you think more about death and about losing someone, just wondering and thinking about that person and imagining the scenario that they went through. I don't know if that has anything to do with that song, but do you want to tell us a little bit about any one of your songs in particular that you feel really close to, and what went into the writing of those lyrics?
Yeah, that's a tough one because, I just have so many different songs, and I really try to put a lot into every song that I make. I mean, obviously I have ones that I enjoy more than others, but like it's just been like my music has just been this like amazing like conduit for like just like exploring like who I am and life, and like just every emotion, just like a safe space for any sort of exploration. So it, of course, and earlier when we were talking about like the genre, or what do I sound like, I almost don't want to limit myself. That's why sometimes it sounds country, or sometimes it sounds and what I'm listening to like during that time also influences like my writing. So I'm trying to think of like a song. I don't know, I really like my song Fate. It's a pretty simple song, but I just feel like the lyrics of that song, it just encapture like something that I believe in, or just how my mind really thinks on a normal basis. Like, it's just the song Fate is kind of like a question, like, do I believe in fate? What are my, do I believe in free will, or is there predestination? And like, that's a super deep thought. And some people are super sure of what they believe in, so they just know. But for me, it's kind of this ping pong match where it's like sometimes I really feel like there are moments of fate, and other times I feel like no, like it's up to me. I get to decide my whole life and future. And so that song, I just feel like came to me at a time where I just was able to capture that in one song, one moment. And I was like, holy moly, this is like taking something inside of my mind and being like, hello world, this is what's going on. And this is like a really good representation of my thought process. So.
Well, and I feel like a lot of people, it makes it really relatable because you can tell that there's a lot of honesty in your writing. And I think, a lot of the topics you explore and sort of those questions we all ask ourselves, I feel like you're taking, through your writing, you take those personal experiences and thoughts, and you present them on a level that is understandable to a lot of people. So, in those moments of uncertainty, when you feel like you're lost, and you might feel alone, then there are these beautiful songs that have been recorded and will always be there when you need to feel that, when you need to feel the sympathies of another person who understands what that's like. Yeah. And so I feel like a lot of the music that you present, whether intended or not, is sort of like you mentioned, a gift. So when you're up there performing, you're giving that to your audience, and I think it's really appreciated. I think I saw some writing about your work where someone was saying it was like a balm to their soul, it was comforting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I mean, for my writing, it is, like I said earlier, just kind of like everything that I'm going through. And I'm just a human, and we all have, we feel so different, but like there's certain aspects of like human experience that I think are just really similar. But for some odd reason, we just like don't want to deal with those, or we feel so alone when we're feeling those things. And I realized, like, I have this ability to, like, feel that and, like, translate that into something that people can actually see, to something more tangible. Because every emotion is kind of, like, this intangible abstract
nebulous
thing.
Yeah.
So I have this ability to, like, experience that and, like, make it into something that other people can relate to. And, like, yeah, that's great for me, but then it's like, this is meant for other people too. Because those are hard times, and, like, I was feeling that, and anytime I write a song, I try to write it right when I'm feeling, like, feeling whatever that is, so that energy almost goes into it. And, like, I think maybe that's why it is a genuine song. It's a genuine experience. I could write a song any day, sure, but I try to, like, use that creative energy and when I'm feeling that true emotion, and, like, and then I just want to release it out even when in that same time frame, because I'm like, all right, there y'all
Let's
go.
Just put this out. Get rid of this and give it away.
Well, it's like a cleanse almost.
Yeah.
You feel this thing, you let it in, you experience it, and then you let it out, and then somehow it, like, other people are like, hey, I feel this.
Yeah.
And that's the coolest thing, is every once in a while somebody will message me being like, this song, like, helped me get through this. Like, I was feeling this exact same way, and I was like, that is what this is all about.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
Well,
So,
I definitely feel that in your work.
thank you.
Sure.
I appreciate that.
Now, there is one atypical, I'd call it an atypical track that I
what is
dug
it?
up.
I'm curious.
This is this collaboration with Tesla. Who's Tesla? Tell us about that, because this is a whole departure.
Yeah, okay, this is funny. I don't collaborate too much. So that's funny that you found that. Okay. So Tesla is actually Mateo, the artisan.
Mm-hmm. Is that a local artist?
Yeah, he actually moved out to LA.
Oh, okay.
But he's from Augusta, and he loves my music. He's been super supportive, and I just thought he was super awesome. And his music is great. He's got a hip hop kind of rap vibe.
Right.
And he was just during that time too, he was really spitting out tracks. He was putting out full albums, like, left and right. And he reached out to me. He's like, hey, I have this song I have written a part for you. Like, will you do it? And I was like, yes. So
well, it's a great track. I think that your voice is perfectly at home in that.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was really a cool thing. And Milo the Great, he's also, I went into his studio and did, like, he had written a part, and he was like, I want you for this, so stay tuned for that.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Really excited to see that.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, great. It's like there's so many artists, I can't remember them all. I'm like, oh yeah, those guys are awesome.
That's not a bad problem to have.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. So is there an artist that, you mentioned Avril Lavigne, is there an artist right now that you're listening to? Who's on that playlist?
Yeah, well, I love Beach House. They're, like, one of my favorite bands. I just like that vibe, so I always kind of am inspired by them. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, you mentioned earlier, you mentioned Beach House when we were talking earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, and with regard to just kind of like moving toward this exploration of synths and sort of adding new sounds, is that something you feel like is influencing you currently with the things that you're trying out and experimenting with?
Most definitely. I like that dreamy synth, like, vibe, and they are definitely the ones that I've been listening to them for a long time, but never even felt like I could even approach it. But over the years, I think, like, I'm like, okay, I sort of have an idea, I want to make it my own, but yeah, they're definitely a huge influence with, like, some of the new directions I've been taking.
Right. And I think dreamy, just that term, does sum up the vibe of a lot of your music also.
That's awesome. I love that.
Definitely dreamy.
That's cool.
So... Is there anything, this is putting you on the spot.
No worries.
But is there anything about you that the people...
Oh, the peoples.
...would be surprised to know?
Oh, okay. I can think of something.
Past, present, or future.
Okay. This is actually not really music related. Like, I guess people know me for my music, but I'm, like, a creative person, and so I like to dabble. But I love to make Instagram videos. I absolutely love making Instagram. And I'm actually like a total silly
Follow
goose.
Celia on Instagram.
Yeah, my music Instagram, I don't know, I have found like this other creative outlet for myself. And it's just like being a total silly goose on the internet. And it's seriously like super close to my heart.
I love your posts. I personally am a fan of your posts, Celia.
I'm honored.
I like your collages that you throw together.
Yes,
and
I love
where
doing
you take
collages.
your head and put it on other.
I'm just like, okay, I am not super great with like graphic art, but I try, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna cut my face out and put it on stuff.
I love it.
But yeah, the Instagram videos are kind of. If people just go to my shows and they don't know me, they think like I'm all like serious all the time.
Mm-hmm. Oh no,
I'm a goofball.
Yeah,
it's like
the best way. I love it.
So that's what everyone needs to know. I also trust me, my songs are very serious, but like the more serious I am, the more silly I have to be in other times. So
yeah, well, one thing I've always liked about your work. And I remember you from when you first started.
Yeah.
Because I think that's right around the time when we must have met. In Schrodinger's Cat, right? In the class.
Yeah, the class. Actually, that's funny. Yeah, I did the improv.
It's been a hot minute, hasn't
Yeah, it's been a while. I always forget that I ever did that.
Yeah.
It was awesome, though.
Yeah, that was a fun class. Yeah. But I've noticed over the years, as I've kind of seen your work progress, that you like to do your own graphics and also your videos. Yep. So talk to us about your videos, because I know that some of them more recently have featured you, which I personally love the style, especially the one where you're in the mall. I love it. I was
like, Ezra, come with me. We're going to the mall. You're going to take a video.
It's so perfect. I really, really love it.
Thanks.
And beyond that, and I'll just say this quickly, I love I just love the feeling of that song, and I love it's sort of unstated, but there's this contentment with you being lost. Sort of like I felt like the point of that was, it almost, if you looked at it one way, it could feel depressing, because you think I've lost my way, but at the same time, when you look at the video and like the part where you stop to smell the flower and you look around and then you just walk away, it's like there's this sort of this survival in that, to me, this feeling of, well, sometimes they're like that, but just gonna keep on doing my thing. And I think that's it. It demonstrates and encourages a lot of strength in yourself and kind of perseverance. But the thing, I really love the video, and tell me about these videos where you take footage from other things and make your own, because I really love that also.
Yeah, I started doing those years ago. I guess I was inspired by two different people. Actually, Lana Del Rey, way back before she was like super popular, she had two songs on the internet, and she had a song called Blue Jeans and Video Games. And she kind of she did it in her own way, but she kind of had parts where she was singing and then parts where there was like little clips. And I remember seeing that and thinking, that's pretty cool. And then I actually met this person on the internet, and they sent me, they were like, oh, I'm a musician. I said, send me a song. And what they did was they would find an old movie and have that clip playing the whole song, or maybe a few changes. But then I got the idea. I was like, I can do a ton of little clips and really create this whole collage. Right. Like a moving collage.
And it's emotional too. It's a lot of I feel like the things that you choose to put in your videos are very carefully chosen. Yeah. For the feeling that they impart to the song.
Definitely. It's pretty interesting. It became like a project for a while. I haven't made one in a little bit, but basically it's funny. I like to learn, so even though I'm creating stuff, there's always something I'm learning about. So I will take clips from videos I've been watching about physics or conspiracies or space or neuroscience or psychology or different philosophers, and so I'll be watching these videos during that time in my life and thinking, okay, it doesn't really relate to the song, but it kind of can if I can piece these things together. So I started having fun. I mean, those things take forever to make.
Yeah.
But
video editing is very intensive. It can be.
Yeah, and I mean,
But I feel like the end result is completely worth it because
100%.
And also knowing that these are also pieces of things that you're kind of seeing, and it's really documenting your life,
just a moment in life. Yeah. So, but I've done mostly those videos, and then recently I haven't had time, so I've just made an image. And actually, but for my new song that I just released, me and my friend have an idea. So we might be, we're going to be, that's kind of in the works. It's not prepared yet, but we're going to do something kind of cool. So I'm excited.
Very excited to see that.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? Do you have, okay, well, we kind of talked about this earlier. So right now you're sort of in incubation period. What are your plans moving forward in terms of touring? Do you have another tour kind of tickling your synapses of, what you're planning on doing, or you're just going to kind of wait and see what happens in the next year or two?
Yeah, I've definitely been kind of staying around here and then like going out of town for the weekend or something here or there. But my good friend John Lensing, I was friends with him when I was living out in Denver. He's been touring around right now a lot, and he's gonna be coming this way. And so he was like, "Hey, do you want to link up on some shows in November?" And I was like, "Yes." So if everything works out, we are gonna do a small run in November. The dates are still kind of hazy and all the logistics, but we're gonna try to set up I think a week or something just on the East Coast.
Nice.
So I don't know. We have to really plan out the cities and everything, but I think he's actually gonna take over doing most of the booking for that though. So thankfully, because he's a musician full time right now, he has a lot more time. I'm working during the week, so
right.
But yeah, so hopefully in November we'll do a little run. But
so I'm assuming you'll post those dates do you post it on your website, celiagary.org, or do you...
So for the tour, I would definitely be putting that on the website. I can be a little slack about putting some of my gigs up there, but
and Facebook is normally
Facebook is a great place. Facebook is definitely where you'll see every show posted. I also have a music Facebook just under Celia. So that's just purely my gigs and music content. And then my Instagram, I do post about shows, sometimes
and videos.
And videos.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then the silly videos in there too. But if you're looking for shows, Facebook, Instagram are really the best ways, and just word of mouth.
All right. Which, it gets around in this town for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Celia, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. This is
really
awesome.
Yeah,
no, thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Celia Gary, currently in Augusta, Georgia. This is I'm Rachel with Sample Augusta, and we'll see you next time.